Each sunrise is a gift, dear sister. Rise with purpose, speak your truth boldly, feed the body that carries your dreams, and guard the peace that shapes your soul. Learn, grow, and stand tall. The world will bend, but you, rooted in dignity, will never break. When the first light of dawn brushes against the curtains, the world offers you a quiet invitation. It is in those first moments of waking that the tone for the entire day begins to form. Rising with intention is not simply the act of getting out of bed, it is the choice to enter the day fully aware, fully present, and fully connected to your purpose. It is the conscious rejection of drifting through life on autopilot and the bold embrace of living deliberately. To rise with intention means you meet the morning with your whole self, your mind uncluttered, your heart open, your spirit ready. You do not stumble into the day reacting to what comes. You shape it before it shapes you. You breathe deeply, feeling the air as a reminder that you are still here, that life has chosen you again, and you must choose it back. It begins with small, sacred rituals. Perhaps it's a moment of stillness before your feet touch the floor, a whispered prayer, or a thought of gratitude for another chance to live. You might stretch your limbs slowly, honoring the body that carries you through life. These moments are not wasted, they are investments. They are the quiet strength that allows you to face noise without being consumed by it. An intentional morning is not rushed. Even if your schedule is tight, you give yourself the grace to begin with clarity. You do not check the phone before you check in with your own soul. You listen, even in silence, for what the day is asking of you. You remind yourself of who you are before the world tells you what it thinks you should be. You see, when you rise with intention, you are not waking up to merely survive the day. You are stepping into it as an author, not a bystander. You carry the pen, and each choice you make becomes a sentence, each action a paragraph, each moment a page in the story of your life. Without intention, the story writes itself in scribbles you may not recognize. With intention, you write it with clarity, power, and truth. There will be mornings when the weight of yesterday tries to pull you back under the covers. The temptation to delay, to ignore, to drift will be strong. But rising with intention is also an act of defiance against heaviness. It is telling yesterday's troubles, "You may have touched me, but you will not decide my today." It is a reclaiming of your agency, one sunrise at a time. And understand, intention is not about perfection. There will be mornings when you oversleep, when your mood is low, when the day feels heavier than the sun can lift. That is all right. Rising with intention in those moments means you still meet the day with honesty. You acknowledge how you feel, but you choose actions that reflect where you want to go, not just where you are. Intentional living does not require grand gestures. It asks for presence. It asks for you to notice the warmth of your coffee cup, the sound of the birds outside, the stillness before the city awakens. It asks you to remember that life is made in these small, ordinary moments. Moments that can either pass unnoticed or be held like treasures. When you rise with intention, you become the keeper of your own time. You do not let the day happen to you. You make it happen through your priorities, your energy, and your choices. You begin to see that how you start is often how you continue. If you begin in chaos, chaos will likely follow. If you begin in clarity, clarity becomes your companion. Each intentional morning plants a seed. Over time, those seeds grow into habits, those habits into character, and that character into a life you can be proud of. You begin to notice that you speak differently, walk differently, and treat yourself differently because you began the day in alignment with what matters most. So when the morning comes, and it will, whether you are ready or not, choose to greet it with open eyes and an open heart. Choose to breathe deeply, to center yourself, to remember your purpose. Choose to rise not just from the bed, but into the fullness of who you are meant to be. For in those first moments, you are not only waking to the day, you are waking to yourself. There is a certain courage in opening your mouth and letting the sound of your own truth fill the air. Speaking your truth is not merely about talking, it is about revealing the deepest parts of yourself without fear of how they will be received. It is about letting the world see you not as they imagine you to be, but as you are, unpolished and real. Too often we are taught to measure our words, to smooth out the edges of our thoughts so they fit neatly into what others can accept. We shrink our sentences, we soften our tone, and we hide behind polite silence. But when you speak your truth, you refuse to let fear be the editor of your voice. You choose honesty over comfort, clarity over confusion, and authenticity over approval. Speaking your truth begins with knowing it. That means sitting with yourself long enough to understand what you believe, what you value, what you need, and what you cannot accept. It requires you to listen inwardly before you speak outwardly. If your words are to carry power, they must be rooted in self-awareness. Without that grounding, you are only echoing the noise around you. There will be moments when your truth is inconvenient, when it disrupts the comfort of a room, when it challenges long-held patterns. Some people may step back when they hear it, others may lean closer. But the measure of your courage will never be in how many agree with you. It will be in how faithfully you stand in your own light, even when shadows gather. Speaking your truth is not an excuse for cruelty. It is not about using honesty as a weapon, cutting others down in the name of just being real. True authenticity carries compassion. It knows that the goal is not to harm, but to be understood, and in being understood, to invite deeper connection. It also means you must be prepared to hear truths from others, truths that may challenge your own. Your voice is not the only voice that matters, and the act of speaking honestly demands that you create space for others to do the same. It is a two-way street of courage, where listening is as sacred as speaking. Sometimes your truth will be quiet, a simple no when the world expects yes, a gentle boundary drawn in the sand, a refusal to carry what does not belong to you. Other times it will be fierce, a declaration against injustice, a refusal to be diminished, a cry that says, "I will not be silenced." Both are equally powerful, for both are born from the same root, self-respect. There will be those who misunderstand you. They may twist your words, question your motives, or label your voice as too much, too loud, too bold, but their discomfort is not your measure. The moment you let their unease define your expression, you trade your authenticity for their approval, and that is a bargain too costly to make. Speaking your truth also means accepting the consequences of it. There will be doors that close when you stop pretending to fit. There will be relationships that shift when you are no longer willing to hide. Yet every closing creates space for openings that align with who you truly are. The people who remain will not love you for the mask you wore. They will love you for the face beneath it. And sometimes speaking your truth will not change the world around you, but it will change the world within you. There is a freedom that comes from aligning your voice with your heart, from knowing that the person you present to the world is the same as the one you meet in the mirror. That kind of peace cannot be purchased and it cannot be faked. The act of speaking your truth is, in itself, a form of self-care. It is a promise to yourself that you will not live in hiding, that you will not abandon your own voice for the comfort of silence. It is a declaration that you belong to yourself before you belong to anyone else. In the end, your truth is the thread that weaves your life into something worth living. It may not always be loud, it may not always be dramatic, but it will always be yours. And when you speak it without apology, without disguise, you give others permission to do the same. Your voice becomes a light in the darkness, and in that light, others will find the courage to speak too. Your body is the vessel that carries your dreams, your laughter, your struggles, and your triumphs. It is the home you will live in for the rest of your life, and yet too often it is the first thing we neglect in the rush of our days. To nourish your body is to honor it, not only with what you feed it, but with how you treat it, how you rest it, and how you listen to its whispers before they become cries. Nourishment begins with food, yes, but it is more than calories and nutrients. It is choosing to give yourself what fuels you rather than what merely fills you. It is learning to see food not as an enemy or a reward, but as a partner in your well-being. Fresh fruits, vegetables, grains, and clean water are not luxuries. They are acts of love that your body will remember long after the plate is cleared. But nourishment is not only about what you put in your body, it is also about what you keep out. The toxins we take in are not just chemical, they are emotional. Stress, resentment, and unkind words can sit in the body like spoiled food, draining energy and clouding clarity. To nourish yourself fully, you must protect your body from what depletes it, even if that means setting boundaries others may not understand. Movement is another form of nourishment. Your body was made to move, not just in the gym, but in life. Stretching, walking, dancing, lifting, even breathing deeply are ways to remind your body it is alive and capable. Movement is not punishment for what you ate. It is a celebration of what your body can do. When you move with joy, your muscles respond not only with strength, but with gratitude. Rest is perhaps the most underrated nourishment of all. In a world that glorifies exhaustion, sleeping deeply and resting often are revolutionary acts. Your body repairs, regenerates, and restores itself when you sleep. Ignoring your need for rest is like refusing to refill your own cup. You cannot pour into life if you are running on empty. To rest without guilt is to acknowledge that productivity without wellness is hollow. Listening to your body is at the heart of nourishment. It will tell you when it is tired, when it is thirsty, when it is carrying more than it should. Too often, we override those messages in the name of pushing through, but a body ignored will eventually demand attention. Nourishing your body means honoring its signals the first time they come, not waiting for them to grow loud enough to break you. There will be seasons when your body changes, when it feels heavier, lighter, stronger, or weaker. In those times, nourishment is about compassion. It is easy to feed a body you admire. It is harder to care for one you are still learning to accept. But love given in difficult seasons is the most healing kind. Your body hears your thoughts, feels your self-talk, and responds to the way you see it. Treat it with the tenderness you would offer a dear friend. Hydration is one of the simplest yet most neglected acts of care. Water is life's original medicine, cleansing and sustaining every cell. A dehydrated body is a weary body, and fatigue often has less to do with sleep than with a lack of water. To drink enough each day is to whisper to your body, "I want you to thrive." Nourishment also comes from touch, whether that is a warm bath, a gentle massage, or simply stretching in the morning sun. These are reminders that your body deserves comfort, not only utility. It is not just a machine to carry you through tasks. It is a living, breathing temple worthy of moments of pleasure and stillness. Above all, nourishing your body is about gratitude. Every heartbeat, every breath, every step is a gift that many will not see tomorrow. When you choose to feed yourself well, to rest deeply, to move joyfully, and to listen attentively, you are saying to life itself, "I do not take this vessel for granted." Your body has carried you through storms and into sunshine. It has healed after hurt, risen after rest, and moved even when you thought you could not. Treating it with care is not vanity, it is reverence. Peace is the quiet strength that holds you steady when the world around you begins to shake. It is not the absence of noise, conflict, or difficulty. It is the calm you carry inside, a sacred space untouched by the storms outside. Guarding your peace means protecting that inner sanctuary from anything that seeks to disturb it, no matter how small or subtle the intrusion may be. Too often, we give away our peace without even realizing it. We hand it over to the opinions of strangers, to the chaos of the news, to the endless pull of demands that leave us drained. Guarding your peace is not selfish, it is essential. For when your peace is gone, your clarity fades, your patience thins, and your joy becomes harder to find. Without peace, even simple moments become heavy, and the beauty of life is clouded. Guarding your peace begins with knowing what threatens it. This may be people who constantly bring negativity into your life, situations that demand more than they give, or habits that keep you in a state of restlessness. Once you identify these peace thieves, you can begin to set boundaries, not as walls to keep everyone out, but as gates that allow in only what nourishes your soul. Sometimes guarding your peace means saying no when the world expects yes. It means stepping away from conversations that are more about winning than understanding. It means resisting the urge to respond to every provocation, every insult, every piece of bait thrown your way. Silence can be a fortress. Not every battle deserves your presence, and not every challenge deserves your energy. There will be times when your peace is threatened from within, when your own thoughts become restless, anxious, or fearful. In those moments, guarding your peace is about tending to your mind with as much care as you would tend to a garden. You pull out the weeds of self-doubt, you water the seeds of gratitude, and you make space for stillness. Peace requires maintenance, just like anything you wish to keep alive. Your environment plays a role too. The spaces you live and work in can either soothe you or stir your spirit into unrest. Light, sound, clutter, and even the colors around you affect the way you feel. Guarding your peace may mean creating a corner in your home that is free from noise, a space where you can retreat and recharge. Technology can be a thief of peace if left unchecked. The constant scroll, the endless comparisons, the flood of bad news, these things chip away at your calm until you are left restless and weary. Guarding your peace means being intentional about what you consume, both online and in the conversations you entertain. You are allowed to step away, to disconnect, to let the world spin without your constant watch. Sometimes guarding your peace means protecting it from the rush of life. We often equate busyness with worth, but constant motion leaves little room for calm. Choosing rest, quiet, and reflection is an act of rebellion in a culture that measures value by productivity. Peace cannot be rushed. It grows in the spaces you create for it. There will be people who do not understand your need for peace. They may call you distant, too quiet, or unwilling to engage. But peace is not about pleasing others. It is about protecting the state of your spirit. You cannot pour into anyone from an empty or agitated soul. When your peace is intact, you show up better for yourself and for others. Guarding your peace is also about forgiveness, not for the sake of excusing wrongs, but for releasing the burden of carrying them. Resentment is a heavy anchor. It pulls you back into storms you've already sailed through. To forgive is to unchain yourself, to reclaim the mental space that anger has occupied for too long. The more you protect your peace, the more you will notice its power. You will find that situations which once rattled you now pass without stealing your joy. You will notice that you respond to life rather than react to it. You will discover that peace is not a fragile thing to be hidden away, but a strong, steady force that grows stronger the more you guard it. Peace is a treasure. Do not let it slip away unnoticed. Hold it, protect it, and cherish it as the foundation from which you live. For when your peace is strong, the storms may rage, but you will stand. Learning is not a season of life. It is the lifelong companion of anyone who wishes to grow. To invest in learning is to decide that your mind, like a garden, must be tended if it is to bear fruit. It is to understand that knowledge is not something you collect once and keep forever. It must be renewed, refreshed, and expanded, or it begins to wither. Investing in learning begins with curiosity, that restless spark inside you that asks questions and refuses to settle for easy answers. It is choosing to see the world as an endless classroom, every conversation a potential lesson, every challenge a chance to sharpen your skills. A mind that remains open will never run out of teachers. This investment is not limited to formal education. Classrooms and degrees have their place, but learning stretches far beyond those walls. It is found in books that open doors to other worlds, in listening deeply to people with experiences unlike your own, in traveling, even if only to the other side of your city, and seeing life through a new lens. Every encounter has something to teach you, if you are willing to receive it. To invest in learning is also to invest time. You cannot rush understanding any more than you can rush the growth of a tree. True learning sinks into you slowly through repetition, reflection, and practice. It requires patience, the patience to stumble, to make mistakes, and to try again. Some of the deepest lessons are born in the quiet space after failure, when you have the choice to give up or to grow. There will be times when learning asks you to unlearn. Old beliefs, outdated habits, and half-truths can stand in the way of growth. Letting go of what no longer serves you can be as important as gaining something new. A cluttered mind cannot absorb fresh wisdom until it makes room. An investment in learning is also an investment in humility. It is the acknowledgement that no matter how much you know, there will always be more to learn. Pride can close the door to wisdom, but humility leaves it wide open. A mind that says, "I already know," learns nothing. A mind that says, "Show me more," gathers treasure after treasure. This kind of growth requires discipline. It means setting aside time to read, to listen, to practice, to seek out mentors and experiences that challenge you. It means resisting the temptation to spend every free moment in distraction, trading some comfort for the richness of knowledge. While entertainment can pass the time, learning transforms it. The beauty of investing in learning is that it multiplies. The more you learn, the more capable you become of learning even more. Skills connect to one another. Ideas spark new ideas. A single book can lead you to another, one conversation to a deeper one skill to the mastery of many. And learning changes the way you see the world. Problems become puzzles instead of dead ends. People become stories instead of strangers. Opportunities become visible where before there was only emptiness. You begin to navigate life not just with what you already know, but with the confidence that you can learn whatever is needed next. Sometimes this investment requires courage. New knowledge may challenge your comfort, force you to confront parts of yourself you have ignored, or open your eyes to truths that change the way you live. But growth rarely feels comfortable while it is happening. The discomfort is not a sign to stop. It is proof that you are stretching beyond your old limits. Investing in learning also means sharing what you know. Knowledge locked away serves no one. When you teach, you strengthen your own understanding and you pass the flame to someone else. In this way, learning becomes a cycle. You receive, you grow, you give, and the process begins again. You are the steward of your own mind. The time, energy, and resources you invest in its growth will shape every area of your life, your work, your relationships, your health, your joy. While the world changes faster than ever, the ability to learn keeps you adaptable, resilient, and ready for whatever comes. When you invest in learning, you are planting seeds you may not see bloom immediately. But over time, those seeds grow into wisdom, skill, and understanding, gifts that cannot be taken from you. They will open doors, both seen and unseen, and they will make the journey richer, no matter where the road leads. Dignity is the quiet crown you wear, even when no one is watching. It is not given by the world. It is claimed, nurtured, and protected by you. To stand in dignity is to move through life knowing your worth, refusing to shrink for comfort or bend for approval. It is a steadiness of spirit that remains unshaken, whether you are in a room full of applause or a place of silence. Dignity begins with self-respect. It is the way you speak to yourself in the privacy of your mind, the way you honor your values when no one would know if you broke them. It is keeping your word to yourself and to others, not because someone is watching, but because integrity is a part of who you are. When you stand in dignity, you do not bargain with your principles for temporary gain. There will be moments when standing in dignity feels like standing alone. The crowd may move in one direction while your conscience pulls you in another. In those moments, dignity means choosing the harder path, the one that aligns with your truth, even if it costs you approval, comfort, or opportunity. For dignity is not about what you win, it is about what you will not lose, and that is yourself. Dignity shows in the way you carry yourself, not in arrogance, but in the quiet confidence that says, "I know who I am." It is the straightening of your back when someone tries to belittle you, the calm in your eyes when others expect you to react in anger, the grace with which you walk away from what is not worthy of you. It also means setting boundaries, not as walls of isolation, but as lines of self-respect. You do not allow anyone to speak to you in ways that strip you of your humanity, nor do you speak to others in ways that strip them of theirs. Standing in dignity means protecting your peace without using your strength to crush others. Dignity is not loud. It does not need to announce itself or prove its worth. It lives in the small, consistent choices you make, the ones that reflect your values, your character, and your self-worth. It is how you treat people who can do nothing for you. It is how you act when you have the upper hand. There will be those who mistake your dignity for pride. They may see your refusal to engage in petty battles as weakness, your unwillingness to gossip as detachment. But dignity does not waste itself on convincing others of its value. It remains firm, knowing that the right people will recognize it without explanation. Standing in dignity also requires forgiveness, not because others always deserve it, but because your spirit does. Carrying bitterness is like dragging stones. It slows your steps and wears you down. To forgive is not to excuse wrongs. It is to free yourself from their grip, to reclaim the dignity of a light and unburdened soul. Your dignity will be tested in times of loss, disappointment, or betrayal. These are the moments when it is easiest to lash out, to compromise your principles in the heat of pain. But dignity is not only shown in victory, it is most visible in how you handle defeat. To walk away with grace, even when wronged, is to declare that your character is not for sale to anger. Dignity also means being unafraid of humility. It is knowing that admitting mistakes, apologizing, and learning do not diminish you. They strengthen you. A person standing in dignity does not need to be perfect. They need only to be honest, accountable, and willing to grow. This kind of strength cannot be taken from you. Circumstances may change, fortunes may rise and fall, people may come and go, but dignity remains as long as you choose it. It is the thread that holds your life together when everything else seems to fray. When you stand in dignity, you inspire others to do the same. You give silent permission for those around you to hold their heads higher, to live with more integrity, to honor their own worth. Without preaching, you become a living example of what it means to walk through life unshaken, unbent, and unapologetically whole. When a woman rises with intention, speaks her truth, nourishes her body, guards her peace, invests in learning, and stands in dignity, she becomes unshakable. These habits are not just actions. They are a way of living that honors her mind, body, and spirit. They shape her into a woman who moves with purpose, meets life with strength, and inspires others simply by being herself. Such a life is not built in a day, but in the daily choices that say, I know my worth, I honor my journey, and I will live fully no matter what comes.